Welcome to Concerning the Spiritual and Art, a podcast exploring spirituality, consciousness, and the creative process. I'm your host, Martin Benson. All right, y'all, welcome back to the podcast. Today I have such a beautiful and powerful episode for you with visual artist Shuling Guo. And man, like her journey and her story is so inspiring. Growing up in southern China in a very kind of traditional, religious, kind of patriarchal culture that she spoke a lot about, that had just a major influence on her direction in life, especially her relationship to her grandmother and her mother, and how that kind of influenced her spirituality, but also her art making and the journey that she went on and the obstacles that she faced to overcome to not only go to art school, go to Beijing for the art university, and then to come over to the United States is just amazing and inspiring. So you're going to just really appreciate hearing all about that, but also just the work that she's making is so beautiful, and it just comes from such a deep personal place and has such deep, beautiful intentions. You're going to hear her talk all about it. And so I don't want to give away too much here in the intro, but my heart is just still like bubbling from our conversation and just so inspired by her and her journey. And I just know you're going to absolutely love it. So here you go, Shuling Guo. All right, Shuling, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Good. Hello, Martin. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to connect with you. We've been talking a little bit off record, and just I'm really excited for this conversation and just to learn more about you and your journey and sort of the creative and spiritual origins of your work
Mm,
growing up in
okay.
southern China. And I would just think that would be like a really awesome place for us to begin this discussion, is learning about that part of your life and how that has influenced you and continues to influence you today.
Yes. So I grew up in southern China, a region called Chaoshan. Chaoshan, it's basically it's the very, very south of China. And it's 3 hours from Hong Kong.
Mhm.
Um, so our area is very traditional and religion, and the religion is kind of a mixture of Buddhist and Taoist and folk beliefs.
Mhm.
So um, going to the temple and doing ceremony and the ritual, it's part of our daily life.
Yeah.
So growing up in this culture, I always believe there is another world exists
Mhm.
parallel to our human life,
Yeah.
and I always being humble and not. It's yeah, I forgot how to say.
I think, well, yeah, I mean, just like you're saying, like you kind of grew up and you were immersed in a spiritual sort of orientation. Like rituals kind of are there to orient us to the spiritual world, to being kind of connected to our spiritual heart and ourselves. And that was
Yes,
like really just sounds like a really huge part of your influence, is being surrounded in a culture that was connected in that kind of way. I'm curious about
yes,
the melding of the Buddhist and the Taoist sort of philosophies, because they definitely have so many similarities, but of course they have very different origins, in certain ways. And so how, like in terms of like going to the temple, are the temples themselves kind of merged between those two spiritual ideologies or disciplines, or is like do you go to one for each? Does that make sense?
yes. So our region is basically we are very far from the political center,
Mm-hmm.
Beijing. So a lot of traditional culture got to well preserved because we are far from the center,
Yeah.
and um, and then like basically all Taoism and Buddhist is the two main beliefs in China, and it's well preserved in our region, Chaoshan.
Mm-hmm.
And but they're not exist. They're not like in the same temple. So we have two type of temple. One is the Buddhist temple. One is the Taoist temple. Usually, Taoist temple is every village, like our village, Guo. My name is Shuling Guo. So all the villager have the same family name, Guo. So our Guo village has our own temple, and that is a Taoist temple. And in that temple, it's located in the center of our village, and it's very beautiful. It's like a traditional architecture with lots of traditional craft, like wood carving and tile. They use tile to make a mural and decoration. And in the temple, we have three kings in the front. So the front is for three king and five guard for the king.
Wow.
The middle, in the middle is the biggest king. So and then the backyard is their wife, which is the queens. So three queens and two aunts, like the sister of the queen. And so it has a structure of the mechanism of, I don't know, because Taoism is basically had its own system, structure, political structure. So and every god has their own name. So we went there every month. Usually is first day of the lunar month and the middle of the lunar month. We went there to worship the gods and the goddess, and we will offer food and paperwork to burn, because paperwork is the currency for them to use in the heaven. So we have a big stove that after you pray and worship the gods and goddess, we throw the paperwork into the big, I don't know, the fireplace. It's a place that you throw your
fire. I guess what could be a fireplace, but probably it has more of a different sort of aesthetic and design to it than what I would think of a traditional fireplace, probably, right?
Yeah. So we will burn the firework in that fireplace, and the heat and the imagination that you throw by throwing the paper into this burning place. You see the flame going up, and then all this money, the currency will go up to the heaven, and they will use your currency. And then we will also use incense and candle. And interesting things that is everything is symmetric. In the temple is symmetric. You imagine the cathedral and the church in the Western world, they are symmetric too.
Yes.
But in our temple, we also symmetric. We have the biggest guy, the king, in the middle, and then the guards and other small, like a lower rank of guards on both sides. So our incense will be three incense. We burn three incense and two candles. They're all symmetric. We place the incense in the middle and the candle on both sides. So like nowadays, if you see my work, a lot of them, the composition are all symmetric. I feel mainly the influence is from this childhood memory, because I went to temple with my mom and my grandma every month. And we also have a small kind of like little place that we have the gods in the house too.
Yeah, you have like your own altar in the house.
Yeah. So we also that one my mom will worship the gods every morning. So every morning we got the first thing is you burn three incense and then put it in the pot. And then I sometimes when I at home I will kneel down and bow with her, like pray. So I'm not a cult. I'm not believe any religion, but I think this gesture, like bowing yourself, knee down, is kind of, it's very healthy.
Definitely.
for the mental.
Yes, exactly.
So I think despite the I think for me the visual influence is significant from this early memory of religion, ritual
Hmm.
things. It's very significant for me. Like it connects to my creative life now. Like
Definitely.
I I just feel like I'm really comfortable about painting something symmetric, and I
Yeah.
feel that it's a safe zone, and I feel
Yeah.
comfortable to do that and doing. And also sometimes when I paint, I feel it's very religious.
Yes. Yes. Can you maybe talk more about that? Like, what is the feeling that you get that makes you think that when you're painting?
Um, what since I when I was a kid, I always loved painting, and when I went to temple back home, I will use chalk because we have a wooden panel on our like the whole wall. It's a wooden panel, so
Hmm.
I can use chalk to draw a lot of things on the wall. And I remember usually went to temple because temple has so much thing, so much so many things to see. The
Hmm.
mural, the mural and the dragon and the decoration on the on the the decoration on the fabric,
Hmm.
the wood carving, the wood carving on the ceiling. So all these things, so much to see. Like it was the most beautiful part in our village
Hmm.
because people they spend lots of money, donate lots of money, hire the craftsmen to
Hmm.
decorate the temple. So it
Yeah.
becomes very it's beautiful, and the
Yes.
color is like bold color. Like usually in your daily life, you don't use red, orange, blue, green, like all these bold color. But in the traditional temple, they use all these colors
Hmm.
to decorate the temple. So when I go home, when I back home, I always draw like what I have seen
Hmm.
in the temple, and I
Yeah.
just remember I draw a like a big king in the middle, and like um the god is beside him, like
Hmm.
and then lots of dragon and lots of we have turtle too.
Wow.
They really like to use a turtle as a symbol because turtle means longevity.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I did all this imagery become my inspiration when I was a kid, and I draw a lot of butterfly.
Hmm.
And also in the temple, they use lots of flower and plants
Hmm.
to decorate. So it's a very rich experience of
Yes.
like a visual experience for me. And nowadays, when I create, I still thinking like what I'm because all these influence are the most important influence and then most connected to my nature because I'm
Yeah.
from there. So when I'm back there, I always feel comfortable and safe.
Hmm.
Uh, this back is not meaning physical back; it's my imagination. If I
Yeah.
back there, if I think about that temple, I pray with my bow down with my grandma and mom. I feel safe and I feel
Yeah.
comfortable.
Hmm.
So nowadays, when I paint, I don't reference from like lots of people will lots some artists they will use imagery from
Hmm.
internet or from uh, the inspirations from film or uh, from image like image.
Hmm.
I don't use them. I usually sketch.
Yeah.
So, but when I sketch, I would just like this, like
Beautiful.
do a lot,
Wow.
a lot of sketch,
Mm.
and then figure the color palette.
Yeah.
And when I the creative process is like I need to clean out my mind, be empathy, and be
Hmm.
really innocent.
Yeah.
Just think about the moment when I was a kid, after temple, that desire to draw what I have
Mm.
seen. So I'll try to manage that um, mental that mentality
Yeah.
to be very innocent and very pure and just like join, not thinking, try not to think about other things at all. So
Yeah.
if I can get close to that stage, it will be my best. It will be good. It like
Yeah.
I know if I can be pure and be nature and be innocent. I then I think that will be good. Painting
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
something like
love
that.
that. No, that I mean to me, Shuling. I mean, that makes such perfect sense. And like looking at your work and thinking about it now and hearing you talk about it, like I think that's such a beautiful connection to this idea of like safety, comfortability, but also like part of like who you are at your core. Like think about the influence your mother and your grandmother has on you and spending those sacred moments together in a space that is so like I don't like to use this word, but it's like curated for its beauty and its like contrast to like you said, in the rest of your life in in your village, like you don't use lots of color. But in the temple, all the color is being used there. So when you go there, the contrast is just probably overwhelming to see that.
Yes,
And I
yes,
think this connection to that and the work you're doing, I can totally see it. Of course, the symmetry in your work, but there's this like real incredible like magnetism of the work that you make that's also ethereal. Like it feels very spiritual, it feels very light and luminous, like full of light. Do you know what I mean? Like almost like
yes.
self-luminous, like the light is coming from inside and going outward from the work that you're making. When I see it,
Oh,
it's just, yeah, there's something really amazing the way that you're using color and value with that color that's just, I think, does kind of create that response in my heart of something bigger. You know what I mean? A connection to something
yes,
bigger. And so hearing you talk about like wanting to empty your mind, kind of purify your vessel. I love how you said become innocent. And the way
yeah,
that I read that sort of innocence is like letting go of control as much as you can and letting
yes,
go of being the one who knows and just trusting and just
yes.
surrendering to the creative force of the spiritual worlds that surround us, that come through us into the work. And I think
Oh,
that idea and the intention of that is like it's something me personally that I want to do as well and try to cultivate as well so I can relate to what you're saying in my own personal way of this way of
mm-hmm.
like trying to get out of our own way so that that beautiful energy and that creative intelligence of the universe can move through us and so we can be a vessel for that. Yeah, I mean, I just see that, I feel that, and I connect with you on that level of trying my best, albeit very imperfectly, to cultivate that kind of mental space so that the work can come through. And I'm curious, you said, I love how you also spoke about like trying not to think when you're working and not like focusing on anything other than like being that vessel and connected to those spiritual memories and those spiritual sort of core elements of you.
Mm.
Do you practice like any kind of like contemplative sort of process like a meditations and things like that? Do you do anything formal or is this something that's
Mm,
kind of just been ingrained in you through your culture?
mm. Okay, so first I want to thank you for saying that. It made my heart so warm.
Oh, I mean it. It's
Oh,
just so
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
And to answer the question, I didn't I don't practice any of this.
Hmm.
But when I go home, like last year, I went home for a month, and I went to temple with my mom, and this exhibition when I just had a solo show in Miami,
Hmm.
and then after the exhibition, I tell my mom, go to the temple and then tell the gods that everything goes well, and just connect, talk to them, and then tell thank you and to to protect me,
Yes,
even
of
like
course.
on the other side of the planet. But I don't actually practice in my daily life. I used to do yoga in my when I was 20s and early
Hmm.
30s, but after having a toddler, I just couldn't do any of this. I might
Hmm.
pick up in the future, but I feel like it's not very important for the actual like routine.
Hmm.
More important is like your mindset. Like
Hmm.
if I start to work, then it's my ritual.
Yes, exactly. That
Like
is
I
meditation.
I need to clean up all the my
Hmm.
all the things that happening in my brain and just be empty because like I can see our your work and my work. we have some similarity, like
Mm-hmm.
the way we use light, the way we center the figure and the
Yeah.
main things in the center. So I feel if like everybody we have we must share some common sense when we really connected to the bigger world,
Mm-hmm.
to another existing world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel when I work, I want to be a kid. Like I want
Yeah.
to go back to that kid living living Guo village, go to temple with my went to temple with my grandma and
Mm-hmm.
be and pray, and back home draw whatever I have seen that day, because that was very happy, and
Mm-hmm.
create make me happy. And
Yeah.
oh, another thing I want to mention was so in our society it's very patriarchy. So
Mm-hmm.
all the dad go to work, make money, and all the moms stay at home. Have so I grew up in China's one child policy, but my family has three children
Mm-hmm.
because we need a boy. So me and my sister and then my little brother.
Wow.
So we have three kids. So it's like a very patriarchy world that mm, women has women's job,
Mm.
men has men's job, and then girls always been taught that you don't need to go to college, you don't need to be too smart, because you just need to do the homework and cook housework and
Yeah.
take care of the family. So that's our education from the society, and I always felt like anger. I didn't know feminist. I didn't know that word back then, but I
Mm.
feel I was a feminist since
Mm.
I was a kid. So
Yeah.
uh, um, while I go to do all this ritual connected to the spiritual world, I also feel lots of anger from the society.
Mm.
There's something wrong, but I didn't
Yeah.
know what it was. So
Mm.
creating things, it gave me a space and a world to escape. I feel like
Yeah.
I can be my own, like I you create, how
Yeah.
powerful it is.
Mm-hmm.
You just need a paper and a pen, you create a world, and you're the biggest boss in that world. So
Mm-hmm.
I always like just immerse myself in that world. And so now when I work, I think about that moment, that happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to be a kid. Just want to be back to that kid.
Yes. Yes.
That
Oh,
yes.
I love it. And I think, what you're talking about with like the patriarchal sort of like structure of the culture that you grew up in,
Mm,
the limitations that that puts on you as a woman and how you were considered yourself kind of before you even knew what it was called, like a feminist from an early
yeah,
age.
yeah,
And look at you, you went to college and studied art. I saw in your CV. So like, and you're
yes.
now practicing artist, like you just had an amazing solo show down in Miami. That's
Thank
just
you, thank you.
incredible. I'll have links in the show notes for everybody who hasn't seen it. You have to see that. But it's amazing though that like you didn't let that limit your life in any way and you pursued your art. Can you maybe talk about those decisions to like, because I'm assuming there was some
Mm-hmm.
kind of cultural pressure to maybe not do that. Did you have anyone in your life that was like pushing you to
So
take that
many,
risk? Yeah. Can you maybe speak
so
to
many.
experience?
Especially, it's very funny. It's always the male relatives, like my bigger uncle, my older uncle. They always tell me like, don't be too smart, and you don't have to have good score in school. You just be pretty, and they always judgment about how I look, because I'm not a very girly girl.
Mm. And so they
So
would judge you for that?
yeah, they were just, and I
Oh.
always felt very, very tough. Like like I say, my happiness was when I create. When I was kid, I feel my childhood is not happy memory.
Mm-hmm.
It's a anger angry little girl
Yeah, yeah. You're
towards the society and the family.
just
And but
frustrated by
um
those limitations they're putting on
yeah, like some personal stuff, like my dad will tell, my dad loved me, no doubt, but she will tell me like, one of my aunts, my younger uncle's wife, she went to college and she's very smart. So she got a government job in our city. So she couldn't have uh, more than one child.
Mm.
So but our family, everybody want to have a boy. So
Mm.
she only had one girl, and she couldn't have more. So she has my cousin, and my cousin is a girl, so she couldn't have more child. So they divorced. My uncle,
Mm.
my aunt divorced, and then
Mm.
my dad will use that sample say, see, if a woman um go to college and be too how to say too smart and too strong, you might get a broken marriage. And
Mm.
that's very scary. So all these things like really affect a girl when she's not grow up and
Mm.
haven't have any chance to read any feminist like Virginia Woolf
Mhm.
or Simone de Beauvoir. It's like so, but I feel that kind of pressure and anger when I was a kid,
Mm.
and they never like my dad and my mom they never check out my score at school.
Mm.
So they don't care what I have learned and it
Mm.
is doing well. So they don't care. They just care about and I like don't have boyfriend and don't don't do naughty things. Um, so they don't have they don't actually they don't have expectation on me except I going to get married and have my own kid.
Yeah.
That's all the
That's all
expectation.
they, yeah. Mm.
Oh, so but for me, as an individual, I watch TV. So I saw, oh, there's other kids in Beijing. They went they're doing all these amazing things. They go to the museum, they see the artwork. So I want to go to Beijing. That's
Mm.
my goal since
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
Wow.
So and so I went to when I was like 14, I made a decision to go to a high school, a boarding high school in Guangzhou, which
Mm.
is like 500 kilometers from our 500 kilometer.
Hmm. Yeah, kilometers. Hmm.
Yeah, like 500 miles.
Yeah.
Let's say
For
500 miles from our hometown.
wow.
So
At
so I went
14?
14. Yeah,
Wow.
that's about from middle school to high school.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I went to a boarding school that is specific it's learning art.
Wow.
And then I said, Dad, I'm going to take this exam and I go there. If I got past it, in China it's a magnet, it's a
Mhm.
magnet machine,
Yes.
exam machine. So I need to learn drawing and painting in a specific way.
Mm.
It's more like basically it's very like a realism and still life
Yeah, very
drawing and
academic.
yeah, academic. So I went to 2 summer before that exam. I went to training like a studio to train my skill.
Mm.
So I passed the exam and then I went to Guangzhou myself. And
Wow.
then I feel very at that age it was very difficult to leave the hometown, but also very excited to see the big city, Guangzhou. That's the capital of our province.
Mm.
So I learned 4 years there. It was very significant change in my life because I went to big city, no religion, no patriarchy structure. You very free and you also expose yourself to all kinds of things,
Of
and
course.
you're very far from the family. It's very hard. My family, they are tradition, but they're very loving,
Of
like they
course.
love me,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
they're very supportive. They don't care how I'm doing, but if I get to that school, you go.
Yeah.
I give you money and you go. And then I was there for 4 years and then learned, oh, the biggest artist, the most successful artist, and the best school is in Beijing
Mm.
College. So I told myself I'm going to Central Academy of Fine Arts. Okay, I'm going to pass the exam. So I was learning really hard and train myself really hard in high school. And 4 years later, 2006, I passed the exam, and then I went to Central Academy of Fine Art in Beijing.
Mm.
So and then I went to the oil painting department,
Wow.
and then step by step, here I am. And my family, they always they never talk about like uh they never ask me what is painting, what are you doing, but I think they're happy. They're
Yeah.
happy that I make the way. And because I went to Beijing, I went to Guangzhou, I started to learn lots of like I started to read lots of um, fiction and non-fiction literature that wrote by women.
Mm.
I always drawn to like
Yeah,
women's work.
that's amazing.
Um, yeah, and then women artists too. So they're always like women writer and women artists. They are always my hero.
Wow, I love that. Was there somebody who was helping to encourage you? Because that's such, I think I'm just trying to like put myself in your shoes, but like at 14, like, was there someone in your life that was like encouraging you to go to boarding school, pursue your art, like who was kind of like helping? Because I can imagine like you need some kind of support, even if your family wasn't directly supporting you. Was there somebody in your life that was?
Yes, very funny. Funny enough, they're all women. So whenever I draw anything, my grandma always like, "Oh, that's so good! You're so talented. You're so smart.
Oh,
I'm so proud of you." That's my grandma,
wow.
who spent her whole life raising kids, raising grandchildren, sacrifice her own every piece of her to the family, who encouraged me and say, "You are so smart." Um, and you're so talented.
Oh,
I'm not like
no,
I don't
it's
have
just
big
like,
ego, but it's on my heart, like
of course, yes.
because that little girl who were kind of like suspicious about these things that those guys say, but I have a voice from my grandma said, "You're great, you're so talented." And so she is the one who really support me. And another one is my aunt, who I just earlier I mentioned her that she divorced
Mm,
was my uncle. So she is the only female in my family that went to college,
mm,
that gained the knowledge, had the knowledge. And in my uncle's house, they have big bookshelf,
mhm.
lots of book. And I always went there, read every weekend. Went there and read, and that opened a world for me. So she said, "Okay, you have this talent. I'm gonna to bring you to that studio." That teacher, he went to the art college.
Mm.
So I she brought me to that painting studio to start to learn how to paint and how to draw.
Wow. Mm.
So these two women changed my, and my mom also supported. My dad didn't have his opinion, but he would give me money to go to the studio
Yeah, like
and
he was like
learn the
yes and
skill.
no, like kind of he's not
Yeah,
gonna like say no, but he's not gonna say yes, but he'll nudge you a little bit and say like do your thing.
yeah. I think like most of his focus is like, okay, going to make money and raise the family,
Yeah, there you go.
not really pay attention on how the education for the girl.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
still, I mean, what a powerful story, Shuling, and just you know what I mean? Because like the culture I grew up, obviously I grew up, I'm a man. I don't even have an understanding of what that would feel like to just be perceived as being less or limited based on just your gender like that. I don't have a direct experience what that feels like, but I can imagine or empathize like how challenging that is to move against the force of a culture that's trying to tell you to be something different than what you want to be. And the fact that you
yes,
pushed through that and had that loving support of your aunt and your grandmother
mm,
to encourage you to pursue your dream through art and studying art, like what an amazing story.
yes,
And like to see where you
yes.
are now. I mean, you came to the United States. How many years ago did you come to the United States?
2019, so
Okay.
60 years ago.
Yeah. And I mean, like just to see what you're doing now, it's just incredible. And I love how you're speaking about like the voice of women artists and writers and how you are just drawn toward everything you can get your hands on that
Mm.
inspired you and encouraged you. And I hope that, your story, anyone listening to your story now can just feel the power that I feel from it because I can
Oh,
see what you're doing and where you are and the work you're making. It's so powerful and so special. And
thank you.
I thank you for following your dream to be able to be a vessel, a channel to bring this imagery and this energy and this approach down to earth because we need that kind of spiritual inspiration and uplifting energy more than ever. And I see the work that you're doing is kind of channeling something really beautiful and important about like this bigger idea of reality that it's not just this one life or just this one material experience, but there are worlds inside of worlds above and below and all around and
Yes.
interwoven within this one. And I think a lot of our culture is yearning to, in
Mm.
some levels, to connect with something bigger than our individual selves and something bigger than this materialist paradigm of buying and selling and owning. And do you know what I mean? Like material sort of rat race is what we would, like, a term we might use here in America, like where it's just you're constantly chasing like the carrot at the end of the stick, but you're never going to get the carrot, you know? And
Yeah.
so like at some point
No.
we have to stop that, and we have to go within and really connect with something bigger and deeper. And for me, and
Mm.
obviously for you, art is a channel for doing that. And I love what you said. There's so many things you said that I loved, and I feel like I could go in a million directions right now. But one thing in particular you said that I felt a deep resonance with in my own heart is like how your intention when you create is to go back to your childhood, to be more
Mm-hmm.
childlike, and to
Yes.
remember your childhood and those inspirational experiences of being in the temple and of making art and trying to get back into that mentality. I feel like for me, that's something I am striving to get back toward too, because I think when you're a child, you're not overthinking things, right? You're just coming from this purity of self expression and interest. And there's something magical that comes through from a child, like you spoke earlier about innocence. And as
Mm-hmm.
children, up to a
Yes.
point, we're very innocent. And so everything that we create, everything that we do has this layer of like purity and beauty in it that, like, as we become more adults and more self-conscious, more
Mm.
egoic, more our ego
Yes.
becomes more big, we kind of can lose touch with that. And so the journey of an artist is to kind of get back to that childlike
Yes.
state. And
Yes.
so in terms of like your working, I see you work with color pencils a lot. Like these color pencil drawings that you
Mm-hmm.
do are just so amazing. Your oil paintings, of course, are equally incredible, but I love the color pencil as a medium. And I'm curious if maybe you could talk a little bit about like maybe your choice behind using color pencil and using them the way you do, because I mean, it's fabulous what you're able to achieve with that material.
I it's very interesting the the whole the last paragraph you see you touch me again. So it's like a cycle, like a circle. So
Hmm.
when I was a kid, loved drawing, loved painting, and then went to college, went to high school to train my skill. And the whole training system is from the West. Basically, it's influenced from the academic training system.
Hmm.
So it's really you learn a lot of skill about blending color, how to use your pencil to do a still life and make it exactly the same like a
Hmm.
photo.
Yep.
So we still I went through that whole training and that system, and and um and now why I say I want to back to a child, because I feel I need to escape and get out of that system, that
Hmm.
training system that make me think, oh, okay, if I want to paint apple, I need to paint this way. I need to use this color. So I want to get rid of all this um,
Hmm.
thing that's sticking in my mind and back to innocence,
Hmm.
childhood. But very funny. Can you really go back? No.
Hmm.
But sounds because all this skill and all this like the perspective that you look at life and that blending color is already part of you.
Hmm.
All these things is part of you. But how can you go back and with all carry all this knowledge and skill, but not caged and not go back and be an innocent child means you have some freedom. You
Hmm.
can you can ride on the like ride on a horse and then just in a big field,
Hmm.
free. go
Free.
this direction, go that. It's all free.
Hmm.
But but because went through that training, you have all this skill. Maybe you can use this skill to depict that feeling, to depict that color, to depict that light source. So it's actually you innocent child, but then you train yourself. You gain all this knowledge, but then you carry all this knowledge back to the childhood.
Yes. Hmm.
So it's like a loop. And I still thinking very important that if I can as innocent as I want, that would be better. Um,
Yeah.
because all the but now you know how to make this color, you better you have better tool to depict that innocent feeling.
Ex-
and and pencil, how I discover the material, I think it is both, like two reasons. One is random because I always sketch with my pencil, and then
hmm.
one day when I blend the color, I feel this color quality is better than oil painting. Like though this the gradient, because
Incredible.
the pencil, the tip of the pencil is very it's teeny. You can
Hmm.
sharpen very sharp, and then
Exactly.
so you blend the color, you blend the detail is very delicate.
Yeah.
And for oil painting, it's hard because the oil paint the brush is fat, and
Hmm.
even sometimes you use a teeny brush, still you have to control the medium.
Hmm.
Uh, Sometimes too wet. When it's too wet, mm, when you pen a stroke, there is a edge that is
Hmm.
like a the edge has like a darker color, and
Hmm.
but when it's too dry, then the stroke is not even.
Yep.
So I just like accidentally discover pencil this material when they blend together is very delicate. That's the effect that I want. and and also I feel pencil is the most natural and familiar way to paint. When I was a kid, I the first tool that I have is pencil. It's
Hmm.
everywhere. It's
Yep.
so common.
Yep.
So I was that was like 4 or 5 like I think it's 4 years ago I start to use pencil,
Mm.
and I just developed this kind of love with pencil.
Yeah. No, it's
and
amazing.
and I'm also working on oil painting now, but I want to blend them together, pencil and
Mm.
oil. So
Wow.
that because that way I will have the some color some color that oil can achieve, pencil couldn't.
Hmm.
I've been use oil paint. I went to oil painting department, so I painting is my major in college, but I feel oil paint has some good part for my or personal uh, creative process practice. I feel oil paint has some good part, but also has a lot of things that I couldn't good at, but
Mm.
I'm not very good at. But pencil, I think I can for now I feel pencil is uh, a better material for 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 this current practice.
Yeah, for like where you're at with your work. I mean, yeah, it is
Yeah.
so delicate. The just the texture and the
Yes.
quality of the color, the gradients, the transition, that like I said in the beginning, like that luminous feeling from them is just so incredible. But I also love what you're saying and relate a lot to it about like just the color pencil is so ubiquitous, which is like a term that means it's like you said, like it's everywhere, it's common. It's like some things like the first thing that kids use when they start to color is markers or color pencils. And I feel the same thing with like pastels. Like I have this drawn toward oil pastels because it are crayons, like kind of, or crayons or things like that. They feel very childlike. You can move very quick with them or you can move very slow, but they like translate very like effectively and immediately. And so for me personally, I've had the same experience, but with oil pastels. I've been like playing with them again because as a kid, I played with them all the time. And so that it, in a way, the material is also helping bring you back to your childlike space.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? So
Yes.
like
Yes.
it makes perfect sense. Like that, that's an intention of yours, is to like get back into that space and to use those familiar materials.
Yes,
So I think it's just incredible. And like you said, that's just where you're at now with your current work, and you want to let it continue to evolve through you. In terms of
yes,
like your imagery that you're creating now, like with these luminous symmetrical compositions, some of them are like more sort of simple and very like orb like, and some are a little more like ornate and complex in terms of like some of the forms that you make, especially some that are a little bit more, they almost feel like pillars or something on either side of the painting, and then there's something a little less ornate in the middle. Where did this imagery start to come through? Was it in college, or was it when you moved to the States? Like, when did this like current body of work that you're exploring now start to emerge in your practice?
oh, thank you to mention that. I feel like every question you ask is so good.
Oh, thanks.
So, when it's kind of quite different from the body of work when I was in college. It's as I say, college is more like a still life. So
Mm-hmm.
we our class we went to studio. There were three model, and you can just let the model do whatever the position, the gesture, and then you do the you draw the
Mm-hmm.
nude, and so it's like that. But I always drawn to nature and plants.
Mm.
So my graduation work was about plants and people, and then human in between the plants. So that's like my first body of work after graduation. It's about plants, and then later when I moved to here, I was fascinated uh, about the nature here, because
Mm-hmm.
in China the sky are quite gray, lots of
Mm.
pollution in Beijing, but here in the west, in America, America is so blessed, like lots of nature and beautiful sky,
Mm-hmm.
and every day the sunset, the gradient color, and
Mm-hmm.
all this beautiful nature kind of like a big impact on me, and also like I see the gradient color everywhere here.
Yeah.
So that color palette has like embed in my mind. And then after uh, the recent body of work, you see lots of like a symmetrical and the thing you talk about
Mm-hmm.
earlier. It's mainly from the birth experience that I had
Wow.
2 years
Mm.
ago,
Mm-hmm.
because I went through a nature birth. I didn't use epidural. I decided not to use epidural, so it was like very painful, and the labor was really really long, and the
Mm.
last like 3 meter, like from 7 centimeter to 10 centimeter dilation. It was 2 hour duration, but I
Mm.
went through a tremendous pain
Mm.
that I almost, I feel like I faint, and I feel very close to death.
Mm.
That kind of pain, and I just really hard to describe.
Yeah, of
And after
course.
that, it changed my mind. It
Mm.
changed my mind of, because I saw lots of red color and purple with like golden edge. Like
Mm.
I see a ball, a purple ball, and red purple ball with golden edge.
Wow.
And I saw lots of like white, like very bright yellow color.
Mm.
When I fainting, when I
Yeah,
before the, yeah,
when you were
yes,
being like overtaken by the pain that your body
yeah,
just kind of gave out in some way.
yeah. And then after that, I feel like I got a pen about this. I
Mm.
couldn't tell. I'm going to use my painting to tell the story, tell the
Mm.
to show the image that I have seen when I went through this.
Wow.
And before the modern medical things,
Hmm.
there's a lot of women die
Yeah.
when they're giving birth,
Yeah.
and that sometimes can close to 50%. And
Wow.
after that, I really understand like that. um, Before the labor, I was so fear, and I went through all these things, and I really understand the physical suffer, and the physical, um, the painful of being a woman,
Yeah.
being a, yeah.
Hmm.
So I fully take all this, and that affects the way that I paint. I want to depict that, and I want
Wow.
to I and it's kind of like um because our body also symmetric.
Mm-hmm.
So you see lots of my painting. There's a figure, and that figure is actually you can tell you can like you can say it's a metaphor of a woman
Mm-hmm.
body,
Mm.
especially my most recent work.
Yes.
Um, you can like there is some intertwine between human women body and plants. So that
Mm-hmm.
is like a mixture of my previous love of nature and plant and
Yeah.
my current love and curiosity about female body.
Yes.
This female body is not the actual image of a nude, but it's a insight. It's a
Mm-hmm.
it's a imagination of my visceral, my inside body. So it's
Yes.
is it an abstract? I don't know. I don't know how to
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of merging those two things in some ways. Like, because I read a little bit of that, a little like bio about your work. And when I look at it through that lens, I can totally see it. And then hearing you speak about your birthing experience in that way, I mean, it's just obviously I have no context of understanding. I've, witnessed the birth of my two children, and I can
Yes, yes,
see the experience and how insanely amazing and crazy it's everything. It's like every
it's
emotion,
crazy.
every feeling, the totality of human experience, the whole spectrum seems to be like woven and balled up in that one experience for the
Yes.
woman. And it's so powerful too, but it's also, like you said, it treads on the line of life and death, which is
Yes,
what gives
yes.
it, I think that's why it is so powerful and amazing.
So
But
powerful.
you speaking
Yes.
about like the colors and like all those like kind of images that washed over you, and when I look at your work, it does have this bodily feel to it, but more of like a luminous body, a spiritual body, like the body inside of this physical body, like the energetic body of some kind, like coming through that doesn't have clear boundaries or forms like that are identifiable like our human bodies, but they are still bodies in some sense, some containers of light or energy that is like an
Yes.
essence of who we are, that's
Yes.
encased by this flesh suit, you know,
Yes. Yes.
this
Yes. Yes.
kind of suit we have. So when I look at them, I can definitely feel like an energetic resonance with that. And I think
Mm,
it's so beautiful to hear you speak about it, and like looking, I'm gonna have to go back and look at your work even more closely to like, and obviously I haven't even gotten a chance to experience them in person, which I could only imagine how much more powerful they are to see them in real life versus through the medium of a screen. But I know that if I'm having the experience of looking them through a screen, I can only imagine the potency of them in real life. But I think that is so amazing, like that you're able to like take that risk and like follow that intuition of the vision that you kind of had through your birth, and how you're exploring that now through the language of your own art is powerful. And it speaks kind of to me back to like the power of the feminine, and
mm,
the tragedy of how men have used their physical dominance to subvert the female body and mind throughout most of history.
yes.
And for me, I can't fully understand why. I can only kind of infer, but I think it's because on some level men are afraid of the power of the feminine because it's so much bigger than our own power in some ways, because of the power of just being able to bring forth life. Like that is like automatically is connecting you with something much bigger, to the creative force of the universe. Like, of course, men are a part of that process.
Part of,
We are connected to that process, but for women's bodies to be the vessel for the continuity of the human species and all species, like coming through the
mm,
female body, is like,
mm,
to me, like shows such an incredible potency and power that on some level men are just afraid of. And so they use their physical power to dominate. But now we live in a
mm,
time where I feel the voice of the female, the feminine, is rising in such an incredible way,
mm,
and is staking its true place
mm,
back. It's taking it back. At least that's my hope. Obviously, there's a lot of work to be done, but
mm, mm,
to
mm.
hear voices like yours, on this podcast, I would say the majority of my guests are women because that's the work that I just feel drawn to. I feel like the work that these women that I've been able to connect with, like yourself, that are making is just like, oh, it's so incredible and important. And so for me, like I bow down to the feminine all day, every day, because I wouldn't be here. I couldn't be here without it, without that force and that energy. And so I think it's so beautiful that you're channeling that energy through your work, and obviously channeling it through your personal experience too, because there's this objective truth about the female body, but then there's the subjective experience of actually living in one and
Yeah.
experiencing childbirth and all of that. And so to be able to
Mm,
bring those two together in your work is, I think, helps give it its incredible potency, and obviously its truth too. When you see
yes.
it.
Yeah. Mm.
And
Oh,
do you
thank
have
you.
a son or a daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
I have a daughter.
You have a daughter.
I
Wow.
have a daughter that's it changed my it awake my feminist
Mm.
um like ideology. I awake from because I have a daughter. You have a son and a daughter.
Yes, I have both. Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah,
lucky.
I have, yeah, one of each. Yeah.
You gotta experience both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So because I have a daughter, and it made me think about like you just mentioned, when you witness birth, you will naturally. I think every human being, if you witness birth, you will think about death. For
Hmm.
me, it's that experience. It's like a life cycle. My grandma passed away 6 years ago, and
Sorry.
I didn't really,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. It's a deep grief in my heart, but I didn't talk about it. I didn't want to mention that for years until Nola, my daughter,
Mm.
born. I start to process and think about that, and it's make a lot. It's big impact in my work.
Hmm.
I start to draw like the most recent painting was about like a reference from the dry flower. You see the
Mm.
color palette; it's kind of like a dry and grayish and
Hmm.
brownish. So I want to depict about that.
Mm.
That was that is something new for me because I never I always draw always depict a pretty color like
Yeah.
fresh
Hmm.
flower, but now I start to look at the decade and
Hmm.
the dark part of our life because I witnessed the bright and beautiful part of the newborn. Make me
Hmm.
think about what is then. So
Yeah.
so it's a magical change in my mind, and I feel that's a treasure for practice for the art
Yes.
practice.
Hmm.
Um, and um, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think.
yeah, and
Yeah. Go
oh,
ahead.
and
No. Yeah. Go ahead.
so back to the feminist. So because I have a woman, I'm a woman. I went through some misogynist um I went through misogynist some experience from that, and
Hmm.
I little trauma from that, and but I didn't really think about and learn about that until I have a daughter.
Mm.
I want to I just think about oh I want to make sure there is no misogynist in her
Hmm.
world when
Yeah.
she grow up. There's no misogynist for her, and I want to make sure I contribute something for this for building for making the world a little bit better.
Yeah.
I know my own person no create my own personal practice not that much important, but not much important. But I feel like I want to do something. I want to
Hmm.
speak up about power of female and birth experience and then like every painting I centralize the female figure. Like it's a
Yeah.
it's a flower, but it's a metaphor of female.
Yeah.
So I want to do this, and I want to communicate with other women. I want to connect it to other women, and because by doing that, we can build a community that is more um, feminine and more uh, making the world a little bit less like if we all together and we not fight, but some sort of keep talking about that, then it will stop the patriarchy war
Hmm.
to be. Yeah, I want to make sure the war is better for the next generation.
A hundred
Is
percent.
it
I
too
know.
big?
Yes, I know. That's not too big. And you know what? Like those kinds of intentions, we are all like, we are as big as the universe, but we're also like these one small individual little selves in these lives. And there's only so much we can do, right? But by
Mm.
living in an authentic, connected way to this intention and embodying it in your daily life, that is doing your part. And it's just like you can't
Yes,
control everything happening around you. But if you fully do and live that truth and imbue
yes.
your art and your life with that kind of intention and that kind of expression, it makes the biggest impact because it's hard to like see it and evaluate it, but we have to just trust that by living it and passing down the knowledge that you have and really
Mm,
living as an example for your daughter. Like I think that's the best thing. Like I think about myself as a father.
mm.
And I have almost a 7-year old and almost a 2-year old. And
And
it's
two
like,
years old daughter or boy?
yeah,
So daughter.
girl, daughter is going to be 2 in May. And then my
Oh,
son is almost 7. And
7. Okay.
so,
So we
so
have
like,
the same age daughter.
yeah, about right. Yeah. And so, like, we can only communicate so much to them. And then even my son, like, yeah, I want to teach him his knowledge, his intellect is growing. But at the end of the day, like, he watches and she watches everything that I do and all the ways that I act.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is the biggest teaching you can give to your children is your presence and to really
Mm.
live the example you want to set. Because you can
Yeah, of
tell
course.
them and teach them and talk to them, but eventually they're not going
Yes.
to listen, but they watch and they pay
Yes,
it.
yes, yes.
And so just
Yes.
living that truth on a daily life is like enough. Um,
Yes.
and I think that, little by little, our impact does compound over time.
Mm,
And
mm, mm.
so everything that you do has impact. It's just you might not be able to see the fruits of it in this life, and that's okay. And you don't need to, but you just know if you live by those principles, that that is doing something amazing for this world. Oh,
Aw.
it
Hopefully,
is.
hopefully. That's very positive. Hopefully.
I know that in my heart
Mm,
from my own
mm,
experience, but like
mm,
I
mm, mm.
can't impart that knowing on anybody
Yeah.
because
Mm,
your knowing is your knowing until it's
yeah.
changes like everything. But
Yes. Yes.
I know that like everything we do does matter on some level. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
leading with our open heart and with that deep intention and embodying what we the vision that we want to hold for the future and embodying it in the present now is the only way it's ever going to manifest in the future.
Mm, mm.
It's you know what I
Yes.
mean, to live it. And
Yes.
so you're
Yes.
obviously doing that by like following your dreams and pursuing your art and doing what you're doing is going to be the example your daughter needs to be able to work against the forces of misogyny because at the end of the day, like she's got to learn how to deal with it because it is going to be there in her life on some level. It's never going to fully be eradicated, but
Mm,
it can be fought against and it can be damped down over time. And
mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
giving her the tools to be able to, resist and to move beyond those perceived limitations is everything.
Yes.
But
But I
it's
feel like
mhm.
oh, sorry, sorry.
No, you go
I feel
ahead.
I feel it's very lucky to be in the United States.
Hmm.
From a lot like if you're an Asian in like East Asia, it's still very misogynist.
Hmm.
So at least in America, of course, there's a lot of problem, but this is a free place for
Hmm.
a lot of ideology, lots of knowledge, free speech.
Yep.
you can think freely, you can talk freely,
Yeah.
and you can move freely.
Yeah.
So it's very blessed, America.
Yeah, I agree.
Nature wise too, lots of
Oh
great
yeah,
nature.
I
So I
agree.
think every people who live in the United States should feel very, very lucky.
I agree. You know, and it's tough. Like we can totally take it for granted, but not having the experience of living in another country under another culture, like a lot of people here don't have, they don't realize how good we have it. And so we have to definitely, you know, not take it for granted. But it's a living
Yeah.
organ. I feel like any culture, any system is like a living organism, and you have to take
Yes.
care of it. You have to cultivate it. You have to move through it as it changes and help it grow. And we're in some growing pains right now, obviously, in certain ways, but
Mm.
we also, there's still so many amazing things about being in
Yes.
America, like what you're speaking to. And we're so happy that you're here making the work that you're making and being able
Oh,
to
thank you.
fully be yourself and express your experience and share what it is you have to share through your art, which is so powerful and potent. And everybody out there who's listening, you got to check out Shuling's work. Check out the show notes. I'll have all the links there. Make sure to follow her on social media so you can see all the incredible work. But I just feel like this has been such a powerful conversation that we've had. We've been talking for like a little over an hour now. I feel like we could keep going, but I'm
Yes.
sure, there are maybe another time we can bring it back and talk again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to thank
Yeah.
you for sharing
Oh,
everything that you've shared and what an amazing journey that you're on. And you have a huge fan in me. I'm going to be rooting you on and the amazing work that you're doing. And I'm just
thank
so
you. Thank
grateful
you.
to have you. And so, everybody out there, check out Shuling's work and let's please stay in touch. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Awesome. Talk to you soon. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of Concerning the Spiritual and Art. If you like what we're doing here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can stay in touch and in tune with all the amazing offerings that we're going to be bringing to this channel. Thanks again for all your support. Super grateful and excited to bring more content your way. Peace, y'all.